Yo, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a new build I like to call Rainbow Slushie. Now, this is obviously definitely a build video, but this is also a new archetype of how to play Zane that I haven't seen anyone doing really. Now, obviously I'm sure someone plays this, but I haven't seen any other YouTube videos or build guides or anything like that. So let's just get straight into it. But before we get straight into it, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more Borderlands 3 Mayhem 4 Zane builds, and join the Zane Nation Discord, guys. Link will be in a pinned comment down below. Now, what exactly is this build? Why am I out here calling it Rainbow Slushie? Well, the first part of this build is we're going to be using our favorite skill, Calm, Cool, and Collected. This is actually going to help us keep 100% uptime on our anointments. Now, how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to be comboing it with Doppelbanger. So in most Calm, Cool, Collected builds, a lot of people try to keep their action skills up 100% of the time. Now, no one skips over the next line of text. Obviously, people know it does this, but no one has used it to this extent yet. But Calm, Cool, Collected resets your cooldowns. So with all that being said, what we do is we blow up our clone with Doppelbanger, get a ton of action skill and anointments, instantly freeze an enemy, and we get our clone right back, ready to be blown up again. This will allow us to basically just cycle through Doppelbanger, and we're going to have our anointments up 100% of the time. So like I said, that's something that I haven't seen anyone really taking advantage of, and it's definitely build worthy. I did mention earlier, this is just going to kind of introduce a new archetype, but of course, I got a build to go along with it. I can't wait to see what this kind of evolves into, but without further ado, here's my version of the build, Rainbow Slushie. So the action skill and anointments we're going to be using are the new elemental on action skill and anointments. And that's where the rainbow part comes in. So for the shield and the grenade, you're going to want to get two different elements on action skill end. So for the shield in my build, I'm using the Band of Sidorak with 50% bonus radiation damage. And the grenade, I'm using a piss grenade with 50% bonus cryo damage. Radiation and cryo are a great element combination. They get through armor and shield, and hopefully the damage from the cryo will even sneak you in a couple freezes. I know it did for me. I'm not sure if it was actually based on hitting crits, but you guys will see. So when it comes to the shield and the grenade, I was using Sidorak because of the fast recharge rate. I do have to say it does lower your survivability, but the thing is, you really want to have full shields to make it easier to trigger your cooldowns. I wouldn't be surprised if there's still a better option than Sidorak, but I just wanted to use it in this first run because I have tons of health regen, and it's just Sidorak is the best shield to stay full, you know? So yeah. Now when it comes to the piss grenade, obviously a piss grenade will give you 20% bonus damage. It's definitely not necessary for the build. Just get a grenade with that anointment. The cool thing is, since we're putting out our clone a lot, he's throwing them every time you put him out. So yeah. On to the guns I'm using. Now, real quick, I want to say that anointments probably actually aren't required. Obviously, they're suggested because we're going to proc them all the time. But I wanted to add as many elements as possible, so most of my guns have an anointment with another element on action skill end. Now, my number one gun, and I suggest this out of anything else, is the Redistributor. This thing is basically a Brainstormer in SMG form. So you want to use this when enemies are close together. This thing literally melts through multiple enemies, and when you activate all your anointments, this thing is nuts because with multiple elements, it's able to get through shields, through armor, through health, super quick and super easy. Now, like I said, just make sure enemies are nearby. When it does the amp and chains, that's when it's doing the most damage. Now, it'll still do good damage on a single target, but nothing crazy. So on to our second most used gun. This is the Maggie. This is probably the king of guns for calm, cool, and collected builds. It's mostly here to help us freeze enemies whenever we want. Like I said, I don't really need to explain why the Maggie and Brain Freeze are best friends. And as you can see, I'm actually using my Barrier Anointment Maggie. That's because I just want to guarantee the freezes. So the other thing I suggest pulling out your Maggie for is single targets, especially adding 100% damage of 2 different elements on action skill end, which is always active. You're going to melt through any single target. So pull this out when there's only like one target you want to finish off. Now our third gun is the actual Brainstormer. You guys all should know why this gun is great. If you haven't used it, it's just like the redistributor. When you shoot enemies, it chains together with other enemies. So this gun is great for mobbing. And once again, making it into a 4 elemental gun makes it do some insane things. All those chains will multiply with fire, radiation, cryo, corrosive, whatever you add to it. It's going to get through every single layer of shield, armor, and health. It's not even close. But what's cool is adding these extra elements even makes this thing start doing good damage to single targets. These action skill end anointments are really powerful, and having constant uptime is pretty nutty, I gotta say. So finally, we're using the Carrier. This is actually has become one of my favorite guns in general. Now, this is for single targets. The Carrier is insane with multiple elemental anointments. You could probably even use a Q system instead in this slot. I just happen to have a Carrier with the elemental anointments. Now, you won't get as much damage like in our slide speed tri-carrier build, but this thing is still pretty great when you're up against like a Goliath or a Tink turret, and those things aren't super easy to crit, so you just want to kill them as fast as possible. Now, for the class mod and the artifact, these don't matter so much. I was just using a Cold Warrior with lots of points in synchronicity and an Icebreaker. It just seemed easy to throw these into a Calm, Cool, and Collected build, but like I said, this is mostly just to introduce this kind of archetype to you guys. Feel free to experiment with a bunch of stuff, but these worked out fine. Now, on to the skills. Like I said, Calm, Cool, and Collected. So in the barrier tree, we got all the way there, and we stuck 1 point into refreshments. Just grab all the other skills that I'm showing you. They're definitely the best ones with this build, specifically, and with the shield. Depending on what shield you're running, you're going to either want Adrenaline or Ready for Action. If you're running a larger shield, then go for Ready for Action. But since we're running Sidorak, I just wanted Adrenaline. Now, in the clone tree, we had to get to Doppelbanger, obviously. So we're really only using the clone to blow him up. It's not important to get anything else in this tree once we get to Doppelbanger. Now, one main thing you might notice is instead of putting a bunch of points into Donnybrook, I actually put as many points into Praemunitus as possible. Extra magazine size in this build is extra great. You might have even noticed the Icebreaker I was using, my artifact, had another additional 40% mag size. That's because the only thing you can't do while doppelbanging is reload your guns. So having extra big magazines will make it so we can reload real quick before we blow up our clone, but we'll be good after that. So finally, in the drone tree, the most important skill here is Salvation. Don't worry about getting the speed skills. I know they do add a lot of damage, but we're going to get insane damage from our anointments. So just get Salvation. We really just want to keep our health full for Calm, Cool, and Collected. I do want to mention I was testing with 3 points in Salvation and 2 points into Violent Speed. And the extra couple points in Salvation definitely felt like it was doing something. So I can't recommend just running the full 5 points. So that's pretty much it for the build. Like I said, I mostly made this build just to put out this new archetype. It's definitely possible to have 100% anointment uptime with this build. I had it for most of the Slaughter Shaft. It makes it so you literally just shred through everything. Having multiple elements especially will get through, like I've said a couple times already, shield, armor, health. The only element I'd probably avoid is shock. Radiation deals bonus damage to shields, So as long as you're using radiation, you should be fine. But I think this is a really cool concept, and the first of many builds I'll be making using this strategy. The elemental anointments are also still pretty new. I'm sure we're going to get more anointments in this game later on. And now that I put this idea out there, I'd love to see some cool things you guys come up with too. There's still some insanely powerful anointments I didn't even touch yet, like 125% splash damage, just straight up 100% weapon damage. There's definitely some good things that you can try out that I didn't. That's it for the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like and drop a sub for more Borderlands 3 Mayhem 4 Zane builds. And don't forget to join the Zane Nation Discord. Link will be in a pinned comment down below. Anyways, guys, that's it from me. I hope you all have a great day. I'm out.